everyone. My name is Esther, and welcome to another episode of The Cruise. I would say this everyone should be aware of their body by putting the right things into it and taking care of themselves. Often than not, we have this perception that we all do that, but we actually are not. And then sometimes some of us even overdo. So today, it's so exciting for me because I have two wonderful guests here with me who took it upon themselves to share some very useful information about kidney diseases that would be of great benefit to us all. And do you know why I would say this is very special? Because we would hear from real life experiences. And this topic is going to be broken down into three parts. First, so grab your pen and paper and write down any questions that you may have because you're gonna learn something, and of course you're gonna come up with questions. And please don't forget to put them in the comment section below. And I would also encourage you to share. Please share because you don't know who is fighting a secret battle that would need to hear this. So with further ado, let me introduce to you Mr. Prince and his wife here, his beautiful, gorgeous wife here, Igho Pela. Thank you for joining us on the cruise.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Okay, so first I'm going to start by asking, what is kidney disease?
Well, kidney disease basically is like end-stage kidney disease, whereby your kidney does not function anymore. The kidney um, allows our body to filter waste products in our body. Allow through pee, just peeing, your body is able to get rid of toxins. Now, when you have end-stage kidney failure, at that point, that's those function is no longer working, and at that point, you will essentially have to be on dialysis, where a kidney machine actually dialyze your kidney, dialyze your blood, and essentially cleans up your blood. What the kidney usually does, a machine will have to do it.
What are actually the types of kidney diseases that are out there?
Well, you can also expand on this, given the
Yeah.
fact you're also interested in both
Yeah.
nurses, healthcare. But you go ahead. You can expand more on.
Okay, so to piggyback on actually like the what kidney disease is. So the kidney basically is that organ in your body. You know, in the human body, we have different organs, and each of them do have specific function, right? So the kidney main function is it's the filter in your body, such that everything that goes through your mouth has to be filtered because not everything is good for your body. So, what determines what is good for your body, which will be as a nutrient and helps your body to live well, is the kidney. So, the kidney diseases will result anything that have to affect that function of the kidney serving as a filter is lead to a kidney disease. Now there are different forms, and kidney disease ranges from like different type. It could just be a simple injury which can result from maybe an accident, something that just pierces the kidney. Somebody could fall and a sharp object could pierce that. That those are just like acute
It,
injury.
it could be also been from
Um,
infection, dehydration, especially if you don't drink enough water during the summer, and this actually affect elderly people, and that's why they always say hydrate. If you're in the construction industry, you're working all the time under the sun. It's always good to hydrate yourself. Kidney disease also could result from diabetes. Diabetes is also a silent killer, where you can have where your kidney could deteriorate to a point that it doesn't work anymore. Hypertension is also one of the silent killers of kidney. If you have hypertension and you're not able to control that blood pressure, it's going to lead to end-stage kidney failure. And this sometimes takes years for it to manifest.
Mm.
You could be having you could be having a hypertension at 20 in your teens. By the time you're 30, 40, you're going to see the full effect of that, of the manifestation. And the same thing with hypertension as well. So it takes time for this to develop.
Oh,
Um, so be aware, really, just be aware of that. I just want to correct on what about what they're saying, the terminology we're using here. When you say you put stuff into your body and there are things bad for us, not bad for us. The deal is this: whatever you eat, your body needs to process it, and whatever you eat, your body needs to filter it. So there are byproducts from what we eat, and those are those byproducts we're talking about. That the kidney actually filters those things. Even when you take drugs, any medication, at the end of the day, your kidneys have to metabolize it, and those waste products need to be filtered out. And those are the function of the kidney. And when the kidney doesn't work, that's where you run into problems. And those toxins will build in your body, and it could be very dangerous. Where you will be really debilitated, um, and you will not be able to function appropriately. So
oh, yeah. I mean, I also learned that, like, talking about the different types of the kidney disease that we have, I learned that we have the polycystic as well.
there are kidney disease where you can get, and it's no fault of yours.
Yes.
It could just be hereditary, which she rightly said, polycystic kidney disease, and that is hereditary. I inherited kidney disease from my mother. I inherited polycystic kidney disease. Um, so you're kind of born with it. And what you can do about it, pretty much, you want to be able to um, try to prevent it from occurring uh, early in your life, usually in late stages of your life, maybe at 40, 50, 60. That's when it usually shows up. But it could happen as soon as 30, 20 years old. But it depends on having the right diet and controlling your blood pressure. So if you have any of those issues, consult with your doctor, be in consultation with your doctor, and let your doctor guide you in those things.
Oh, okay. Well, so I mean, like you mentioned, your mom had it. Do you know if maybe her parents or like your grandparents or
Yeah,
generations before her had it?
most likely, for my mother to have it, it was passed on
Yeah.
from generations back. Um, that's that's the science of what's happens. The science is that it's passed on from generation to generation.
Mm.
So to simply put in the types of kidney disease, because you have like varying types, like modern. So no, there's not one like different specific numbers of kidney disease, but in a simple nutshell, is just to know that kidney disease could be like it could result from what we call maybe systematic, something that is caused externally, and it could be genetic, whereby you don't have a control about it, and it could also be as a result from or some other disease condition. Of course, these are all not like professional terminologies. We're trying to make it as simple as possible, and this in any way is not any kind of like professional
Oh yeah,
advice or knowledge. Just
of
trying to
course.
communicate information.
Oh yeah, of course.
Again, you still have to consult with your doctor.
I'm also gonna ask this, like, since you already knew that your mom had it, were you expecting that you were gonna have it, or do you have it at the back of your mind that maybe later in maybe future that maybe this might happen to me? And I mean, like, if you do, were you scared? No.
Actually, that's a really good question. Because I did question myself in my 20s and my 30s if I have this issue. And I also contemplated if I do have it, what will I do? Um, at the same time, I didn't want to find out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I knew and my mom had it. My mom case was a little bit interesting. She didn't really develop it full blown kidney failure until when she was like in her late 60s, 70s, thereabout. She didn't really, but she was she was diagnosed and that she had it. And then I think two of my other brothers had it, two of my other sisters had it. So it was front and center that this stuff runs in my family. And but for me, I didn't really. Um, it didn't really manifest itself till in my early 40s. So I felt as if that was when I looked at my brothers or I looked at my sisters, they had it pretty early in their 30s, or at least they were showing signs in their 30s. And yeah, so I felt, oh no, I don't really think I'm going to have this. And, you know, back in the 90s, I didn't want to find out because there was something called pre-existing condition, where if you have a disease condition, you will be denied insurance or denied coverage. So in a way, I just turned a blind eye,
Okay.
you know. But lo and behold, I think after I got married, like 6 8 months after I got married, there were some symptoms that I just could not deny. Like when I pee, for example, when I urinate, for example, there will be like bubbles in my urine, and that's a sign of kidney failure. In other words, there will be like bubbles when you pee. You look at the toilet, there'll be bubbles. It's like your kidney is wasting protein, and it's just a sign that you could have kidney failure. So those things begin to, and as a nurse, I was like, whoa, okay, I know this doesn't look so good, and and believe it or not, I was still in denial.
Of course.
And when my feet start getting swollen,
Oh,
because at this point you can't pee, so you're retaining fluid. While you're retaining fluid, you're gonna swell. Your body's gonna swell up. So there was a time where I woke up one morning and my leg was just swollen, and I had to go to the emergency room. I knew this was more than just like
yeah.
this wasn't just like stress. This was like serious issue. So that's how the diagnosis came about. The diagnosis came about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like from what you said, when you experienced those symptoms, you knew, this is actually out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
You need to check. And then when you got in, like, what kind of test was performed to?
Yeah. So I think so after that ER visit, I had to follow up with a nephrologist. Um, the ear it's not the ear doesn't want to actually tell you exactly what's going on because that's not really their job. Their job is to stabilize you. And I had to follow up with a nephrologist. When I got to the nephrologist uh, office, they already did blood work, and just a simple blood work would tell you your kidney function and tell you what your kidney function is. And basically, they're looking at this creatinine level, and my creatinine level was high at that point. Um, I don't remember the figures, but it was just like out of range for. Um, so that was one indication. Then after that, they had to do it. They had to do like an ultrasound. Basically, an ultrasound is like they just gonna with a picture of what your penis looks like, and they were able to pick up. I was able to pick it up myself and see that there were a lot of cysts in my kidneys. That's why it was called polycystic kidney disease.
Oh,
So the function, that means that the function of the kidney was just was no longer happening. I mean, at that time, I think I had only had 20% left of my kidneys. So 20% of my kidney function. So
so 80% is
20% left. So I was still able to function, but at this point, the end goal was you're going to be on dialysis at some point.
And that is why, so in speaking of like the cardinal signs, what do you know, or how do you know you are on the road of having a kidney disease? They are not like all the symptoms, but if you're having high blood pressure that is not getting controlled, And like we rightly said, it's not a one number, but when you're having continuous blood pressure going over like one, so the normal blood pressure for an adult should be about like 120 over 170, and this also will be different from every adult. But if you're having blood pressures of the top number is like 140, 160, 180, 200, you're taking medicine and it's not going down, and you're having increased tiredness, and when you
Fatigue. Fatigue.
which is fatigue. So it is that will be a time. A very first cardinal sign is just know that once your blood pressure is not get, it could be some other factors, but especially if you're also like in advanced age, is to check with your doctors and have like a consultation with the nephrology, who is like the kidney doctor, and it can be different from every kind country to country depending on the kind of service that is provided. So, if the main for every kind of illness, prevention and early detection is the key. If you have the symptoms, do not put it off, because if your disease is caught on time, because there are different stages from like stage one, stage two, stage three, stage four to stage five before it becomes chronic, and that person will need dialysis. So if it is caught on time, maybe at the early stage, there are possibilities that it could be started on more strict regimen of diet and medication and more prevention so that it does not get worse. So, encouragement to everyone, please do regular checkup with your doctors. I know sometimes in some parts of the world where healthcare might not be easily be affordable, at least once a year, check your blood pressure and just let your doctor know, I just want to check my kidneys, the functions, because if they're able to pick it up on time, then you have a lot of options on what to do. So prevention is the key, and early detection too.
I just want to follow up on that. For blood pressure, once a year it's too long.
Yeah, once
Um,
again.
No, but at least a
hold on.
not your blood pressure. I mean your annual medical checkup. Yeah, at least once a year. But your blood pressure is something you can easily check, and they have machines everywhere where you could borrow from somebody if
Yeah,
you don't have one.
it's really accessible to. You don't even have to go to the doctor's office
Yeah.
to see a doctor check your blood pressure. You should have access to the cloth and the blood pressure cloth. Check it often. Often is actually better. Um, the more you check it, because you have to see the consistency and you have to see a trend. Even when you go to the doctor's office, they're going to look at a trend if they're and for them to be able to do a diagnosis, and that should be able to tell you you need to take it often.
Yeah.
You have access to it, take it every day, take it once a week, and then you see a trend and see what the numbers are saying. If the numbers are too high, it should be telling you something
Yeah.
that you need to seek medical attention. That also goes for diabetes as well. If you're prone to diabetes or you have low sugar, high sugar, it's also crucial that you check those things because those things could lead to complications,
Yeah.
uh, very complications, not just kidney failure, but other issues.
Okay. So yeah, prior to when you started having those symptoms, were you taking any preventive measures? Like,
Yeah, of course. I think that's why I kind of got it. I didn't have issues until I was 40.
oh,
Um, but right in my 20s, I already had high blood pressure. I was always struggling with high blood pressure. Uh, I think I started taking high blood pressure when I was like 20, 24, 25. That's how early I had high blood pressure.
that's really
Um,
early.
so I was also out, and I was also, um, so I was taking blood pressure pills. At 25, I was taking one or two blood pressure pills at that time. Um, because in the back of my mind, so I was like, oh no, I don't want to get kidney failure. I don't want to get kidney failure. So I was always on top of things.
Oh,
Um,
And you were also very regular with your
yeah.
medication. It's also very important, like if you're on any kind of prescription medication, to be consistent with it, because that is going to help to a greater extent to avoid stuff.
And then I also saw my sister, my brother, who were battling kidney failure at that time, full blown kidney failure, full blown dialysis. So I was able to read up and tell myself, no way, I'm going to take my blood pressure medication.
yeah.
Um,
Okay. Okay. So like when you found out, how did you break the news to
Wow. To
to
myself or to my wife?
you can't break the news to my son. Broke the news to you, but yeah, like how did you feel? Of course, I would like to know how you felt when you were told that.
When I found out how, wow, it's a life changing experience. It's life chartering. It's life altering. Absolutely. I mean, you have to ask yourself, like, can I work? Can I go to work? Can you make a living?
Yeah.
Um, is my life over? Is my dreams over? I was, and when you see people on kidney failure, they could really get really sick, where the symptoms, where they're so symptomatic, and they could look very sickly. And I didn't want to look like that at all. And I was agonizing over that feeling. And and at that time I got the kidney failure. My wife was still in Nigeria. She hasn't joined me in the United States at that time. So I was also thinking, gosh, how am I going to break this news to her?
Yeah.
You know, we're just married like a year in, we're just 1 year into our marriage. So I was like, how am I going to break this news to her? And I was distraught. And I was like, gosh, all the promise I've given to her, like how I'm going to take care of her. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to, you're going to come to America. We're going to live a perfect life. It
Mm.
was like, I can't keep up with that. I can't, I, I had to, I had to, I just I had to find ways to accept it. First of all, acceptance was the key.
Yeah.
Um, Acceptance was the key. My doctor, Dr. Guy Find, also was very helpful. My nephrologist. She was able to early on tell me what treatment options were available. And like she said, home dialysis was better. And the reason for home dialysis was you would feel more healthy and stronger,
Mm.
and you'll be able to keep a more relative, um, relative semblance of your life. And so I was completely open up to going to get trained on getting the machine, learning how to do the dialysis, and just learning, just
Yeah.
learning. I was just At this point, I was just absorbing information, reading, learning. You know, going on the internet, looking at people dealing with kidney failure, see how they are able to survive. Trying to learn from other people's story
Yeah.
on how they're able to thrive. Um, I met a really wonderful guy. He's late right now. My great friend Tolu also had kidney failure. Um, but he was inspirational.
Mm.
To me, he reached out to me, telling me what he was doing, how he's coping with it, and I never forget. And and I was just like, I really want to do well myself, you know.
Yeah.
So, but every day was a battle because you have to remind yourself and like, gosh, you have to cope with this, you have to cope with that, you have to
Mm.
make adjustment here and there. So it's been at least 5, 7 years now, 6 years on dialysis.
Yeah, but 5 years.
Yeah, about 5 years.
Mm.
So I'm able to work. I'm able to work. I'm able to the things I thought I would never be able to do. I'm still able to do it.
Yeah. Okay, so
Um,
let's get into that.
with okay, so let me not get ahead of myself here. So
Yeah, Mrs. Igho. So how was your reaction when your husband told you like
Like you rightly said, and also being with the knowledge of being a nurse, right? In you from a perspective of seeing like what kidney disease was, and not even just knowing so much, but just knowing like the end part. Okay, whoever has kidney disease is gonna die. But then that was from the perspective of knowing how deadly, or how, not like deadly is not the right word, but how severe that it could be,
Yeah.
having to deal with that. It was heartbreaking. It was like, oh, okay, all this, and you start thinking A to Z. What if, what will happen? What if does not happen? How will this happen? How will this be? And we were just like starting our life together with all excitement, young couples thinking about, oh, we're gonna have kids, we're gonna run to this place. I like a lot of outdoor. And I know that with kidney disease, there's a lot of issue with like your energy and all of that. So I think at the initial part, I was in denial. I was like, oh no, this cannot be possible now. Especially like, of course, I believe I have faith, and I believe I'm also a very optimistic person. But at the initial time, I was like, oh no, this is not happening. We're gonna we're gonna overcome this and all that.
Prayers and
Yeah,
fasting.
Miracle.
but as a
Got
day
here.
but as a day went by, it was because for every problem in life, the first step to overcome it is to accept it. Okay, I have this, then what do I do about it? And that is also comes to a point where, okay, God, what do I do about it? And that is at that point that you begin to find like support system. You begin to even consider treatment options, and just let God help me. And I think that was very fundamental for me.
Yeah, because I have a friend too who recently whose husband was recently diagnosed with kidney failure, and it's just like I was even crying for her. Like I'm not even there, but when she told me, because I know the couple, I was crying at the point. I was like, oh my God, is this? I mean, of course, it's not the end, because like she rightly said, we are believers, we believe in God and all that, but we still have this fear. And I could imagine what she, the wife, was going through, because she was like, oh my God, is it the end of the world? What's going to happen? How am I going to survive? And they have like young kids too. So there were a lot of thoughts that were running through her mind. So it's very, very good, I mean, to hear, how you felt. And obviously you've been able, like you said, the first step is to accept it, and then move forward with, okay, what are the options we have available, and instead of living in denial and taking a break, to accept. But it's better you accept on time, and then move forward. So yeah, it's I mean, it's really a blessing sometimes to be able to have that strength and that courage to be able to accept things like this, because of course, some people will just say, "Oh God, my life has ended," but I mean, it's not. I mean, it hasn't ended, because I mean, I'm with living testimonies here. So really so thankful for you sharing that with us. And thank you for watching, and watch out for part two. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and of course, put your comments in the comment section below. Have a fabulous day. Stay healthy and blessed. See you. Bye.